A fountain in the nation's capital, where I am tonight, and it is a fabulous night in Washington. Growing up, many of us were told by our parents to always say thank you or please. Being polite and respectful to your elders always got you high points. But now the state of Louisiana is actually making it a law. This fall, elementary school kids will be addressing their teachers as yes ma'am or no sir, and if they don't, well, that's what we'll be finding out from our very polite group of guests tonight. And as the song goes, R-E-S-P-E-C-T, just a little bit is what is due me. And that's what the state of Louisiana wants from their kids. Will it work? With us tonight, Representative Charles Hudson, coming to us from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Mr. Hudson, thanks. I know you made a long drive tonight to be on, so explain to me, what is this Louisiana law requiring students to be polite?
Okay, this legislation is going to provide an opportunity, perhaps give momentum to the idea of teaching, practicing, and reinforcing the concept of respect. And of course, we all know that respect is a very fundamental part, a very fundamental ingredient of the golden rule.
Mr. Hudson,
we all believe in that.
We do all believe in that, and we actually don't even need to say it here on the show. The question is, how come a law? How come Charles Hudson, a respected legislator in Louisiana, isn't just saying to parents, demand this of your kids? Why are you making it a law, and how are you possibly going to enforce this law?
All right. The reason for that, across this nation, as we all know, there is a great decline in respect for authority, respect for rules and regulations, and to say nothing about respect for other people. In fact, there is so much disrespect. A lot of young people have learned far more disrespect than respect. And what this law, what they're doing, respect is like a wildfire in the lives of many youngsters. It's consuming them. It's like a wild forest fire. What this legislation will do is to put water on these flames of disrespect.
Mr. Hudson, hang on just a second. Jeanne Allen is with us. She's with the Center for Education Reform. Ms. Allen, I can't imagine there's anybody in the country who would argue with Charles Hudson that it would be a good thing if students were more respectful to their elders, their parents, and their teachers. Is this law going to do it? And if you don't think so, why not?
Yes, sir. John, Representative Hudson's absolutely right on several scores. And of course, he's also very, very well respected in his home state because he works on bringing about reforms that actually bring about respect. But this isn't the way to do it. We should focus on creating a culture of respect in schools by having schools that have control at the local site level, that have schools that have accountability. Half of our kids get away with murder because we don't want to say, here's the standard, you better meet it, or there's trouble. We don't have consequences for teachers.
Mr. Hudson, let me make this argument to you. I'm not sure I believe it, but let me make it to you.
Go ahead.
How do you instill respect for the law when you have a law that could be flaunted because there is essentially no teeth? There's no punishment for a kid that doesn't say yes sir, no sir, yes ma'am, no ma'am. It is a law that is all air and will create disrespect for law.
Well, I don't think that is what will happen. You know, people have said, well, you can't legislate respect, and I fully agree. They said, well, you should teach that it should be taught at home by the parents. I fully agree. But what it will do, this will serve in the same manner as when parents or teachers are teaching a young child to walk. The child falls down, or he sits down, and he refuses to get up. You don't go out and punish him.
But Representative Hudson,
you try to teach him. Go ahead.
Representative Hudson, why don't we go to schools like some that you've started to create in Louisiana, charter schools, or schools like KIPP Academy in the Bronx, New York, of all places, where respect is expected, where parental contracts are put in front of kids. We can do this in a reform-oriented public school system. Obviously, we need lots of changes, but if we give kids good standards, high standards, we expect them to act a certain way, we expect the teachers, quite frankly, to act a certain way, and the parents to join us, it works. If there's some more choices if there's higher standards, and if we have a system that actually expects something from our kids. Because what you're doing is a great idea. It's got well intentions, but it doesn't necessarily get to the heart of the matter. Wouldn't you want to take this to the heart of the matter and create schools that are responsible for behavior and held accountable for behavior?
Let me say this. You make a very good point there, but let me tell you, I don't think anybody will argue with the fact that respect is a good habit. We learn good habits by practicing good habits. What this legislation will do will be to give impetus to families that will call attention to the fact that we ought to practice what we preach. You know, we go to church all the time. And people go to church all the time, and they listen to hear sermons. They hear messages that they've heard over and over. So it's not a matter of always learning something new, but it's a matter of practicing what has been taught and what you've learned in the past.
Charles Hudson,
and that's what we're doing here.
We are not quibbling about whether this is a good idea. We agree it is. We're actually looking for a way to make your idea stronger. What if you made it a law in Louisiana that teachers must require of their students that the students address them as sir and ma'am? You can certainly make teachers follow the law.
Actually, you're still off the wrong point, John, because the point here is let's make schools accountable and be little bastions like they once were and now are becoming bastions of high quality, high achieving. Kids are held responsible. If you not only work hard but act well, you get the can, or you don't get passed on. That would be the best deterrent.
Dennis Vacco, the former Attorney General, no, he's gone. Geraldine Merritt, ma'am, wouldn't you like to see respect legislated so you were certain to get it?
Nope, I think the law is frivolous. I think it's a misuse of precious legislative resources. I think the school board should make the rules, and if the elementary kids don't follow it, put them in timeout.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Yes, we'll have more on RESPECT, talking about what it means to me right after this quick break. Stay with us. Thanks to Representative Charles Hudson, who drove a long way for us tonight, Jeanne Allen, Dennis Vacco, and Geraldine Merritt. Stay tuned now for Austin Powers on Time and Again. Oh, behave.